New machine. This is honestly, I think this is the first time we've done this in a month more.
Oh gosh. Well,
Right?
yeah. I mean, I see we have no viewers right now, but for anybody
Yeah.
that's maybe catching up later, yeah, PJ and I were streaming every week for what about a year over the pandemic, and then PJ got an awesome new job, so we took a break, but now we're back.
We're back. And not only that, it's not on Sunday anymore, so we don't have to eat up our weekends
That's true too.
because our jobs involve spreading the good word about our various situations that we're doing. So like, hi, I work at GitLab. This is our Tanuki. It's cute. It comes in a bunch of different colors, but mostly this yellow and orange. And all of my repositories are on GitLab now, which is great.
Yeah, and ironically, I work at Microsoft that owns GitHub. But look at us, we're still friends.
We're still friends for now. Stay tuned. We'll see how the rest of this stream goes. I'm gonna throw together a tweet that we're live.
Yeah, I was
God, I
trying to
haven't
think of
done this.
something.
I need to set that up on my stream deck where I can hit a button and it automatically tweets out that
Ooh,
I'm
you can do
live.
that?
Come see me.
That's cool.
Oh, dude, this stream deck is amazing. I do have a Twitter button on it, but all it tweets out is my poolside FM fake business card.
Pyrock, what's up?
Hey, Pyrock, what up, dude? Round one, fight. That's right. Oh man, let's get my machine ready for coding and remember what we were doing 2 months ago when we last met. Twitch.tv/Metzen around. Ooh, baby. Oh, but I gotta spell my name right. There we go.
Ooh, speaking of which, I heard a rumor about being able to edit a tweet.
Oh, no way.
Although, so I should preface that with Twitter's gonna have like a paid tier. And this sounds like the rumors say that this will be part of the paid tier. So you'll be able to, I think, within a window. I don't know if it's 10 seconds or a minute of sending out a tweet, be able to edit it. But I don't know. I might pay $2 a month for that because
can I tell you how many typos? I actually tweeted the other day. I was like, anytime I have a tweet that's doing any kind of numbers, typo. Every time. Frustrating.
I've definitely gone back and deleted tweets because I spelled stuff wrong, and
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
yeah, especially if it's egregious too, like if it like changes the context of what you're trying to say, or
Yeah.
there's been a couple times where like I release a new version of my app and it's like a big announcement that I want to get a lot of or hope to get a lot of traction on, and there's like this glaring typo or like if I really want this to get like retweeted 100 times,
Right.
I don't want people thinking that I don't know how to spell, or use grammar.
Those Microsoft employees. I tell you what, I have Grammarly installed on my personal Edge profile, like from like my personal Gmail and all that. But then on my work Edge profile, there's no Grammarly, and man, I am a terrible speller. Thanks, Pyrock. Yeah, this is the camera especially is the Logitech Brio. It's very fancy.
I'm I'm like jealous and annoyed that your Brio looks so good because I think I told you that was the first webcam I bought back when the pandemic started and we all went remote, and it just looked terrible. I just set it back because it never focused on my face. Like I was always blurry. And Logitech has, I don't know if you ever installed, they have an app you can download to like manipulate the camera.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
I have that.
Yeah. So like, with
Observe.
that app, I could make it focus on me and like, hey, whoa.
I can adjust the depth of field. I can really get in.
Oh.
I actually I'm going to make this a button on my Stream Deck so I can hit it and it just goes. Wah! That's a good use of technology, I think.
Love
but
it.
dude, I can put filters on myself.
Ooh. Oh, that's cool. So you don't need to do the expensive like housing, or, like lights all around the room, home improvement project.
Nope, I could just that's original, but then I can literally adjust the brightness on my own. That's wild. I don't need to do that though. That's silly.
But yeah, so I could go into that app and I could say like focus here, and I could click on my face, and then everything would look great. But then if I moved, or the next time I opened up the camera again, it would be out of focus. I'm just like,
terrible.
You have one job as a camera.
I wonder.
Focus on me.
I wonder if they just fixed it in the meantime, because like I'm loving this. This is great for me. And eventually I'm gonna get these lights. Like I'm gonna put more stuff on my walls, and I'm gonna like loop lights around. I got this light set. It's just a sticker. It's like a line sticker of LEDs, and you just run it up there. And I'm gonna have like a little like
that's not too bad
roadmap essentially. And it's got so many freaking colors. What am I supposed to do with all these colors? This is unnecessary. Oh, that purple's good though. Oh my god. Oh yeah. But I keep it on the brand color. You know how it is.
This IoT stuff's addictive, man. I recently put up those like Ring cameras on our house, and something I thought I would never want, never need, but put them up there, and now I'm just like, ooh, and I could also automate this, and like I could see how it snowballs really quickly. I'm already like looking at like the smart outlets that you can connect to your Wi-Fi, and
those are addictive for sure. I thought about it, and I was like, I can't. I don't want to.
Right, it's like next thing you know, like I'm not even getting out of bed. Like I have robots like bringing me breakfast and making me coffee, and I can turn all the lights on with my phone.
The Wall-E future's not that far away, man.
Oh no.
That's right. We're gonna be playing golf by just flicking on a screen. That'll be great. So welcome back. We're here. This is the original stream that I started doing back when I was desperate to get into tech, but I really I made it, y'all, and you can make it too.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of getting into tech, you got this fancy new job with a fancy new MacBook that I hear we got to get set up.
We do have to get this set up, because right now this MacBook has Visual Studio Code, because I was doing some stuff with that, but we don't work in Visual Studio Code, do we? We work in something entirely different.
Yeah, I mean, we could, but we could also use Visual Studio for Mac. Even with Visual Studio Code, there's still like extensions and stuff to install. So yeah, why don't we do it all? I mean, we'll be here till what?
3 Eastern Standard Time.
3 Eastern, noon Pacific. So yeah, we got time.
We got time.
We'll just download all the things. I think. How about we do that? We'll make this the goal. Let's run your website using both by the end of the stream.
Oh, VS Code and Visual Studio. I'm so used to like Visual Studio being what I use for you, and Visual Studio Code is what I use with Chloe when we're making Twitter bots. That this feels like a situation where I don't quite know how to feel. But yeah, like a traitor. But wait, I bet you know what? You know what? I can't get hot restart on VS Code, can I?
That's only in a very specific preview version of Visual Studio on PC right now.
So. On PC? All
yeah.
Right, well. Oh, but you've got like a super fancy Macintosh, so you run like Windows on your Mac.
Yeah.
Right?
We could get that set up for you too.
We cannot set that up on this. It's a MacBook Pro, but it's not that pro, dude.
How much RAM do you have?
Oh Lord, let me check.
I mean, I have a lot. I think this
you have like
64
gigs of RAM. Yeah, I do not have 64. So let me see. Oh Lord, don't try and software update. Stop that.
So actually, I can share.
About this Mac.
Let me share my screen, show the people what we're talking about. Because this is actually really cool if you have a MacBook Pro. Let me. How do I turn on my screen?
I got 16 gigs.
It's still doable. I did it with a 16 gig MacBook.
Uh,
But what are we talking about? Well, let's share this screen. So very clearly, this is my MacBook Pro. But there's this cool app called Parallels that allows you to run virtual machines on your MacBook. And so what I did, I just installed Windows 10. So whenever I need to use Windows, I just pop open Parallels, and then I have Windows 10 running on my MacBook Pro, which is really, really cool, really, really convenient. Because like PJ alluded to a minute ago, there's certain features that will come to, or I should preface this with being a .NET developer, a Microsoft employee. There's certain things that Microsoft will push to Windows first. Mm-hmm. So especially in the Visual Studio world, Visual Studio Mac. Oh no, GitHub desktop.
That's not what you're trying to open at all.
Not with the GitLab employee looking at me.
Actually, I learned you can use GitLab with GitHub desktop.
Yeah,
you can connect your repo to it. So that might be something I end up doing anyway. But I think I might try and work in the terminal for a little bit, for a while.
So, here's Windows. This is a full version of Windows. You still have to install the Windows updates, and I've got Visual Studio. This is the preview version I was talking about, where you can get .NET Hot Restart working. But so features will come to Visual Studio on PC first, typically, and then they'll make their way to Visual Studio for Mac. So sometimes if I want to jump on the latest hotness, this is a very, very preview. It's the preview.
It's very preview.
it's the preview that we just released last week at Microsoft Build. So Visual Studio 2019 preview, 16.11 preview 1. That's the new hotness. But yeah. So what PJ was saying a minute ago about the RAM and all that fun stuff, that comes into play because when you set up Parallels, you have to share your CPU and your RAM with it. So this virtual machine, since I have 64 gigs of RAM on this computer, which is incredible.
I think you mispronounced unnecessary.
Well, what's really nice is what I do is I give 32 gigs of RAM to Windows 10, keep 32 gigs of RAM for my MacBook, and then I can just run both side by side all day, just leave it running. Don't have to worry about any performance problems. Whereas when I had a MacBook Pro with 16 gigs of RAM, I would allocate 8 and 8, but then things would start getting a little slow after a while as I spun up more and more applications. Whereas here, I could just do it, and it's
I don't think you could overwork that computer if you tried, man. Is that the M1 or not yet?
No. So this is something that I won't say I regret it because the computer's awesome, but this was the last generation MacBook before the M1 came out. So when I didn't buy it, work bought it, but when I got this computer, I was like, this computer is going to last me for a decade. I'm never going to need to upgrade. And then a couple months later, Apple's like, secret announcement, we made a new processor. And I'm like, great, this is already obsolete.
Perfect. This machine's useless. I just bought an $1,800 paperweight.
I'm sure it was more than that.
Listen, let's not get into it.
But I will say, what's kind of cool with Parallels, getting back to the RAM, the memory stuff, is it won't use it all right away. So you can see I've allocated 32 gigs of RAM for Windows, but right now Windows is only using 14. So it'll use it dynamically as it needs it, which is why when I was doing it on my MacBook Pro with 16 gigs of RAM, things kind of started slowing down after a while. But
after a bit.
Back to PJ's computer.
Yeah, listen, we
You want to pull that up?
Yeah, so I've got it shared down there. Pretty sure.
Boop.
Hey, there we go. So yeah, I guess I gotta get because I already have VS Code, and you can see it. There we go. Right there, VS Code. But let's
Nice.
get Visual Studio for Mac.
Yeah. And so what'll be kind of cool with this exercise is we can figure out, and it's all very much a personal preference. Don't listen to the haters when somebody's like, you should never use this because I use this.
I use Atom and nothing else. Like, hey, man, do you like it? Go for it.
Yeah. But yeah, if we get if we have enough time to get everything accomplished with downloads and install times, yeah, you'll start to get a feel for what you like better. Mm-hmm. So the thing with Visual Studio Code is there's a lot more work with the command line, with the terminal, whereas Visual Studio for Mac is more, I don't want to say user-friendly because there's a lot of bias in there, but you just have to like click the play button and it just kind of works.
Yeah.
Whereas like in Visual Studio for Mac, very rarely will you have to do terminal commands or anything like that. But at the same time, a lot of people like doing that and prefer doing the commands themselves in the terminal because how do I know what a GUI's doing?
Yeah. I gotta tell you, like, I got my terminal that I got is I got iTerm 2 I downloaded, and I also installed something called I think it's What the ZSH.
Oh yeah.
If I go into a let me see, a directory here that's got my actual
personal GitLab key. Ooh.
Yeah, I won't open that one up. Hold on. Open. Git repos. So if I go into this and like I go into an actual like do I have a repo? Oh, I don't have any repos in there. But this is cool. So this little thing here will tell me what branch I'm working on.
Oh yeah, I've seen stuff like this.
Yeah, so what the ZSH is super dope because it'll be like you're in main right now or you're in this branch. So that like that confusion of all right, where the hell am I? Is taken away.
Who am I?
Who am I can't be answered actually. So a little different.
Emilio, to answer your question, well, the goal today is get PJ's computer set up. But for the last year, PJ had been building a website in ASP.NET Core. And so, yeah, I guess the answer to your question is particular language or framework, at least C# and ASP.NET Core to get that website running on this new machine today. The website's already published. It's live. ynfp.net, your new favorite poem.net. But PJ also does. What else do you do? Is it JavaScript? Python?
JavaScript, mostly Node when we're doing JavaScript. Yeah, and that's what I write my Twitter bots in. So I've got a couple Twitter bots I've made with Chloe Condon. We've got Shania Bot. We've got and Shania Bot every day tweets "Let's go girls," and which is
it's on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, on Twitter. What did I say?
I guess you said tweets.
Yeah. But yeah, it does every day. Let's go girls. And then if you tweet at her with impress, it will actually here. Why am I telling you? It'll reply back with that. Don't impress me much.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want. Hey Shania Bot, wake up. And actually, I want to make sure that like. There's a weird thing where sometimes if you tag it at first, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Twitter does that. It's almost like a public DM. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, if you tag somebody, then say anything, like, that doesn't impress me much.
It does not impress her much. Oh man, I love you, Shania Bot. I'll leave that up. So I also have one that I just made, SNES soundtracks, And if you
Cool.
say please to the SNES soundtrack spot, it will give you a Super Nintendo soundtrack. And every week it says, here's your soundtrack for the week.
What?
Yeah,
That's so cool.
here it is.
Where you
We
get
got
these soundtracks?
Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack. If you want to listen to it, it just sends you the YouTube link, and
And we just got demonetized.
yep. And now we are so kicked off of Twitch.
Can you
But yeah.
demonetize a stream that makes $0?
Listen, if you guys want to help me not make $0, subscribe.
Like that's one of those like, what's the sound of one hand clapping?
That's right. How do you demonetize the people that can't make money? But yeah, Shania's great. SNES Soundtracks is great. There's Just Bot Paid that tweets a clip from a NSYNC music video called Just Got Paid every Friday. Because maybe you get paid on different Fridays. Or maybe you're like me and you get paid on the 15th and the last day of the month. And I haven't added that capability to the bot yet.
Me too.
Yeah, it's a different world, this whole... What is that called? Bi-monthly? No. Semi-monthly.
Yeah, both.
I don't
The
know.
buy is weird though, because it could be every 2 months or twice a month.
Twice a month, exactly. I think that's why semi-monthly is technically the correct term for twice a month.
It hits the ear weird though.
It
It almost sounds like some months I get paid, some months I don't. You know,
We never know.
semi-monthly.
It's so different because I used to get it every 2 weeks, and that meant that twice a year you got an extra paycheck, and it was like bonus money.
Bonus paycheck. I love this.
But, I mean, it's the same amount all year, I guess. Whatever. At least I have a job. Let's see where we're at here. It's taking its time. It's putting in the mono framework.
Ooh, what is
giving us-
mono, PJ?
It's giving us the kissing disease.
So mono, if we go way back, so it's kind of weird nowadays because there's .NET 5. Microsoft is about to release or has released previews of .NET 6. And .NET 5, .NET 6, they both work cross-platform. So like we'll be using .NET 5 on, or we do use .NET 5 on PJ's website.
Yep.
And it works fine on the Mac and the PC, Linux, whatever. But that's, in terms of the Microsoft scale, since Microsoft was created back in the 80s, relatively new. Mono was actually the first cross-platform implementation of .NET. So it was the first way and the only way for a decade or more that you could write .NET code on a Mac or on Linux. And yeah, there's a whole weird history with it because it wasn't Microsoft sanctioned when it was first created. It was kind of like these rogue Microsoft employees, because .NET wasn't open source back then either. So they just kind of figured out how to reverse engineer .NET and make it work on Linux. And that wasn't technically legal. Like, I don't know the whole or the nuance and all that stuff to the story, but I do know that like Microsoft's rules didn't allow it, but Microsoft was kind of like you're not allowed to do it, but you're not really harming anything, so we're not gonna sick our lawyers on you, kind of thing. And if you fast forward, the company I used to work at, Xamarin, Xamarin runs on Mono because what iOS and Android are, they're just ports of Linux. So your phone's just running Linux when it comes down to it. And it's really cool because each app is a different Linux user, and that's how they sandbox the apps from talking to each other. And that's why as like mobile app developers, we have to do so much extra work if we want to like launch your app from my app or share data. Like you have to go through all these layers because of different users. They have different security policies, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, so yeah, when iOS and Android came out, the creators of Mono, Nat Friedman, Miguel de Icaza, they were chatting and they're like, well, if iOS is just a port of Linux and Mono allows us to write .NET code for Linux, how hard could it be to take it one step further and use Mono to allow us to write .NET code for iOS and Android? And that's what they did. Xamarin was born, and then Emilio, technically legal.
That's right, Emilio.
But then, in 2015, Microsoft, or 2016, Microsoft acquired Xamarin. So Microsoft ended up with this Mono framework, and over the last couple of years, I haven't done anything. People way smarter than me at Microsoft have been doing this. Microsoft's slowly been merging the two runtimes together. So in .NET 6, it actually will have the Mono, what we call the base class libraries, the BCL, included alongside .NET Core. And Mono is now powering, if anybody's familiar with Blazor, your Blazor apps run on Mono, and obviously your Xamarin iOS, Xamarin Android, .NET MAUI, those will run on using the Mono runtime. And so it's a really cool, I guess you call it dovetail, that's come together at Microsoft. And because there's all these cool benefits that Mono has that .NET Core didn't. And there's benefits that .NET Core has that Mono did it. And now it's just .NET 6. You just call it .NET 6. It's like you don't have to worry about all this stuff, and it'll be just this beautiful experience. And they're leveraging technologies from each other, and it's also cool because both are still open source. So like .NET is totally open source now. Mono's always been open source. So Microsoft pays the engineers that contribute the most to both platforms, but any of us, I wouldn't know where to start, but
I was gonna say, you can do it, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'll fix a typo somewhere.
Jump down to the low level compiler or runtime code. Ugh, that scares me.
There's so one of the big things about GitLab being an open core company is we try and encourage people to contribute to our stuff all the time. We're a very transparent company, and so our whole handbook and the way we run things is fully visible online. Anyone can go and look at it, and anyone can open up the Web IDE editor and just start editing it and submit a merge request and be like, I think this works better. And if it's good and there's a solid reason for it, then they'll be like, okay. And if it isn't, they'll be like, not for us. But everyone can contribute, man. And they really take that to heart.
I love that. And something that really impressed me was when PJ started, it was just, we were just chatting. We're like, hey, how's it going? How's the onboarding process? And he's like, dude, check this out. Sends me a link. And the whole onboarding process is open source. It's just in GitLab. And it's I'm reading through this. I'm like, this is incredible.
You can see exactly what it would look like.
I had something like this.
It was very nice. And even still, I was talking about every time someone asked, how you doing? How's your onboarding going? I'm like, man, I feel like I'm going to be learning forever. They were like, oh, good. That's the right attitude. I was like, oh, all right. It's so much. I was doing more work in the terminal than I ever had before. I'm so glad that, we did an episode of Chloe and I's show, back when it was The Show Must Go Off the air. We brought Daniel Kim, who's a DevRel at New Relic, on, and he was helping me learn about how to do stuff in the terminal. If he hadn't done that, I would have been floundering in my first day. It would have taken so much more to learn terminal for the very first time, and using Git and all that stuff. But now I just have to Google every single time I get in the terminal. How do I check what branch I'm on? Actually, hold on.
I still Google that.
It's Git remote -v? No, that tells you what the origin is.
Try it.
I don't have any repositories on here right now. That's the other things. Actually, while Visual Studio... Yeah, I don't have any... While Visual Studio is downloading, we should be on GitLab, and we should be downloading my code. We should be making local repos. So check it out. Yeah, so I've got... this is Divas Live. That's all of my Twitter bots in one location. Right here, I already moved my code from GitHub over to GitLab because I'm a good employee. But this is how it looks.
Did you archive the GitHub repo?
Did I archive it?
Yeah.
Probably
So
not.
this is still kind of a new feature in GitHub, but like when you're not actively maintaining a repo anymore, you can go into its settings, and if you scroll down far enough, there's a button that says archive this repository, and it basically just prevents anybody from opening issues or pull requests. And it will display a banner at the top that says this repository is archived and is now read only.
Good.
And that kind of lets people know, like, hey, like I'm not gonna really come here anymore. So yeah, don't open up bug requests or feature requests.
Don't think that I'm gonna pay attention. And actually, it's funny because the main way that I make my Twitter bots is with Twit, and Twit is not maintained anymore. So we're just floating in the wind for right now.
Get status.
Shows what branch you're on. There you go. There you go. And that's Brandon. He's a coworker of mine. Ooh. He's also the person who came through on Chloe and I's show and like helped name most of the bots.
Those are great names, by the way.
They're really good names.
Kudos.
Right? So eventually, what we have to get going is the CI/CD here to make it automatically deploy to Azure like it did before.
Cool. Yeah.
But when we do that, that's a whole nother thing we're going to be doing later on. But yeah, this is my repo, so I need to clone it, and I need to get it on my machine. So let's see if we can do that. Let me get to a good folder here.
Brandon says, I have a very particular, mostly unmarketable set of skills. Put it on your resume. I can name great Twitter bots.
That's right. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm already messing this up. All right, clone. Let me put in a password here.
The installer. Yeah.
That's right. So I know I have an SSH key on my machine. Right? And in the folder where I want it to go. CSH
you need to make a YNFP folder?
I wonder. I thought it would already make a folder. Let me see.
We can find out.
Let's see.
Because we can always delete the clone and start over.
That's right. Let me see if I can change these preferences. Can you see that okay on your screen, like when you're looking at it, or should I make it a little bigger?
I mean, I see it okay, but I'm also staring at you on a big monitor. I don't know how.
Yeah. Let me get to
a TV or a phone.
my preferences here. Edit. View. Let's see. Maybe I can just zoom in. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Okie doke. So, I mean, like, so when I do that, git at gitlab.com, I don't need to do, like, git, like, download or anything, do I?
I would say hit enter and let's find out.
All right. So I get that. No such file or directory.
All right. What was the other option in the clone?
The other option was HTTPS.
I see. So it gives you, yeah. So Brandon's saying here, git clone.
Git clone.
So probably git clone, then paste in that HTTPS link.
There we go.
Boom. Oh, and Visual Studio for Mac.
Hey, right at the same
time.
Show. Okay, so now I should have a folder in here. There you go. Hold on, how do I get into this folder? This is going to be great. Your new favorite poem. Boom! And there it is. See, that's the thing I was telling you about. It tells you what branch you're on. Heck yes. Okay, cool. So now, ls, and there's all my files. Okay, good. All right, we got a local thing. All right.
Yeah, you should. Well, yeah, maybe off the stream. But I would say eventually you'll need to connect to your Microsoft account so you can publish it to Azure.
That's important. That's important, I guess.
The goal today is just to run it locally.
That's right.
And ironically, probably the biggest barrier to run it locally is going to be getting MySQL set up.
Oh man, keyboard shortcuts. Now this is where we run into a hilarious issue. I use a Windows keyboard with my MacBook, but
So,
it's already mapped to Mac OS.
well, really, yeah. The crux of what this is asking is like, so for example, you've been using Visual Studio on Windows for the past year to build the website, and I know for me, I'll develop like muscle memory, so I don't even there's shortcuts I don't even know what they are anymore because I'll just do them, and somebody will be like, "How'd you do that?" And I go, "Oh, I have no idea."
Hold on. If you like look at your fingers, what they're doing.
Right. And so what you might want to do is select the Visual Studio keyboard shortcuts, because then and I'm making some assumptions here, but what I assume this is doing, like your Command or Control KD, Control KC, those kind of shortcuts will be the same here. Whereas I'm the opposite. I started developing on Visual Studio for Mac, and so my fingers do my muscle memory does the Visual Studio for Mac shortcuts, and then when I switch over to the PC, it's like I'm typing with gloves on, because I'm like, why is nothing working? I guess typing with mittens on would make more sense than that.
Typing with mittens on. Open a local project. Should be that SLN file, right?
Yep.
Solution, it stands for. I'm like extra scared about like showing my screen now, because oh god, it's on light mode. We'll be fixing that soon too.
Step one.
Step one. Install Dracula so I can have the color scheme I want, and then make it dark mode. Wild.
So I'll show you. So if you click Visual Studio and then go to the preferences, I'll point you to where the dark mode is. Right there.
Thanks, man. I don't know that I would have found it.
But yeah, you have to restart it.
Yeah, I'll mess around with that later. Because I need to install Dracula at Night, which is my favorite theme. Can I do themes on Mac?
So I'll show you. Open up a file so we can see what the code looks like in the current theme. Oh, I just meant like, oh yeah, there you go.
Let's do Burger Secrets.
Burger Secrets. I forgot about that.
It's still there. Like, it still exists. There we go.
So now, if you go back into those preferences, you can toggle through the different themes that come with it. And you'll see it change behind you, or in the editor behind. Okay. So color theme, which is probably 3/4 of the way down. And so,
okay.
I've never done it, but yeah, it says you can add. The one I use is Monokai. That's my favorite.
I actually, as soon as I saw that, I was like, that looks familiar. I feel like I've seen that. Brendan shares this code.
But what's funny with Monokai is it uses a lot of red. Yeah. Which is kind of synonymous with like
bad
failures and bad. Yeah. So like, I'll try not to share my screen if I remember with the Monokai theme, because people are like, why do you have so many errors? I'm like, oh, no. Okay, yeah.
Dracula at Night is my favorite. It's the first one I got, and I haven't switched yet. And like, even like all of my branding that I was doing, where I was like, I need to pick colors that'll represent. It was this pink and this green.
Oh,
even on my phone, I've been doing that pink and green for like my my icons and stuff on my Android forever.
That's cool. It looks like it's open source too.
Mm-hmm. And it's based on Dracula Official, which is really similar. It's just this is a little bit more neon, and I like that slightly more neon tinge to it. Let's see here. Go to View.
Yeah, let's see if this works. I mean, you'll definitely need to do this anyways for Visual Studio Code. But yeah, I'm curious to see if this will also work with Visual Studio for Mac, because I've never tried it. I've been using Monokai for 6 years now.
All right, so I need to go to View, Command Palette. Oh, we're already in a problem.
So yeah, that's giving you the VS Code instructions.
Yeah.
So can you download it?
There
Is there a download button at the top?
is install, but that's, for VS Code. But it is the Visual Studio Marketplace.
Yeah, but
happens.
underneath that, like the directory where it is, Visual Studio Code, themes.
Stop. Okay.
I guess
I don't know.
Probably the first question, why don't we go back to Visual Studio and click that add button and see what file type it wants.
It tells us the theme formats that are supported. Visual Studio, Xamarin Studio, TextMate.
Okay.
I was using it in Visual Studio before.
Oh, really?
Synthwave 84, Amelia, what is Synthwave 84? You're speaking my language, bud.
Oh, this has some good vibes.
Oh, it glows! Oh my god! I'm really enjoying the await the night constant sax solo equals new saxophone sax solo dot play.
Yes.
This is gorgeous. Man, that's really pretty though.
But why?
Look, there it is. Those are my 3 favorite bands too. Like, wow. That is really pretty. That is really pretty. I'm gonna stick with Dracula at Night, but this is really,
that's cool.
Really revving my engine. Okay.
Oh, look
let's
at
figure
that.
this out.
You see the equals?
Where? Oh my god! It's a full line. Whoa! That's really dope. Okay. Where was I?
Oh yeah. Can we download Dracula at Night?
Yes.
Or does Dracula at Night have a VS settings? And then where do we get it?
Let's go to here's Dracula at Night.
I wonder if you go to the repo, if that has more information about like download the file here. Nope. Same exact info.
Let's see. Get ignore license. Dracula not PNG.
I guess I could Google something on my end.
I know there's a way to do it.
What's that file called? VS settings?
VS settings, yeah, I think it's called. Let me see.
Ooh. Did I just find it?
Did you?
Visual Studio. Oh, I see. So Dracula. Oh, maybe this isn't the same. Here, I'm gonna
Go for it.
drop this link in our private chat. So DraculaTheme.com, is that the same thing?
This is the regular Dracula, but
Okay.
it's close enough. Install using Git. Boop. Boop.
Oh, wait, didn't you say Dracula at Night is a fork of the official one? So what I was just thinking is maybe these steps will also work. So like, because you're about to do a git clone on the original repo, but if we just git clone the forked repo, then maybe we could follow similar steps.
Let's where's there? That's Dracula.
Oh yes,
Dracula
has steps for on a Mac.
All right.
So yeah, let's git clone that.
And let's. How do I go back a single?
So CD folder for change directory, and then space, and then do a ... and that'll take you up one level.
Okay.
And you could always do. You could do a ... /... That'll take you up 2 levels.
Okay. ...
/... Like right, you just keep.
Git clone, and then this is the Dracula at night.
You left your Git repos folder, by the way.
Yeah. Well, do I need to install it in the Git repos folder? I think I do.
Oh, I guess that's up to you.
I mean, where should I?
This is a Git repo.
Be nice. All right. So let's go cd space git repos. There we go. All right. So git clone. See how that goes. Cloning Dracula at night. Okay.
That's a weird thing to say.
We really shouldn't be cloning Dracula. It's dangerous.
And definitely don't do it at night. Like,
no. What? At least during the day. Amazing. All right. Let's exit out of that.
Oh, you just closed the instructions, though. I still got it up. So...
Oh, God.
So it looks like somewhere in there is just a VS settings file. Is that right?
Wonder if I could just get to it here. Desktop.
Yeah.
PJ Metz, Git repos, Dracula at night. PNG source settings. It's a TS file.
Dracula at night actually has an issue open on the repo.
Oh, really?
The issue literally says convert to .vs settings file for Visual Studio for Mac. It says, I really love this theme. Could you create a VS settings file version for Visual Studio for Mac?
Boo.
And then the owner responded. He said, I've never worked with Visual Studio before, nor am I familiar with its configuration system. I can't promise I'll find the time to port it, but you're welcome to submit a PR. Ooh, there's a PR open.
Is there?
But it's not for VS settings. It's just for something totally different.
Dang it.
Dang it.
All right. I know I can do Dracula, which is close. Actually, this synthwave one, I do wonder if that's available. It'd be really cool if there was just a marketplace for Visual Studio, because there seems to be one for VS Code. All right, let's do that synthwave one. To enable the glow.
To enable the glow.
That's right, man. Synthwave 84. It says VS Code. Let's go to its repo. Let's see. But why? Installation. Okay. VS Code doesn't natively support. You have to get into the JSON settings and everything to enable the glow.
Wow.
Every time you update VS Code, you have to repeat the step. It's really cool looking, but I can't. Yeah. That's really dope, though. I love it. All right, let's keep it simple.
Yeah, I'm looking at the synthwave repo, and I just searched for a VS settings file, and nothing popped up.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dracula for Visual Studio. We'll just do the git clone, but don't copy the $sign.
We'll say, ironically,
yeah,
this is reminds me of the conversation we were having earlier, where we were talking about whatever code editor you use is very much a personal preference, and it can literally come down to the theme you enjoy the most.
Yeah.
And that's for me, I've been using Monokai for so many years that the colors almost, there's a shortcut in my brain where I'll see a color and I know immediately what's going on. And that's something that throws me off when I jump to Visual Studio on the PC, because it doesn't have the same Monokai theme. There is a Monokai theme, but it's slightly different, and it's different enough to I don't have that brain shortcut anymore where I just can look at something and identify it by the color. And I really love it, because it's by the color, I can tell, is it a local variable? Is it a global variable? Is it a method? Is it a property? Is it a class? Is it, and I don't have to hover my mouse over it or right click on it and say go to definition. It's just in my brain.
It's just right inside my brain. All right, so this is Dracula. It works. My VS Code will be Dracula at night, but it's all good. That pink and green.
You should restart Visual Studio, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
This light theme. Ugh. You'll have to quit it.
Yeah, quit it. Hit it and quit it.
Quit it real good. What's that background?
That's Akira.
Ooh, what's that?
Akira is a 1985, 1986 anime about based on a manga, based on a Japanese comic about a guy named Akira. So it's set in an alternate future. It is 2020, Japan, Neo Tokyo, after a large blast destroyed old Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Dude, get ready. They're getting ready for the 2020 Olympics, but there's a pandemic going on, and people are protesting against the Olympics taking place.
Wait.
And this was written in the 80s? Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy.
So the pandemic doesn't really factor much. It's not like that's not the focus of the story. The focus of the story is this guy whose name is Kaneda. And he has a friend named Tetsuo, and Tetsuo was abducted by the government for secret experiments. Akira is a child who had like psychic powers, essentially, and they were doing studies on Akira and evil government stuff, and it's seen as like a classic anime, and it's a brilliant movie, and the animation and the way they did backgrounds and stuff is still like talked about. There's a great video by a guy who does video essays called Nerd Writer, and he does video essays on tons of stuff. But he did one on how they use light in Akira, and it's brilliant. It's so good.
Cool.
I could talk about Akira for hours, honestly. But I also want to show off my other background because I have two separate backgrounds. And so I'm going to have to stop sharing and then share my second screen.
Is Nerdwriter a YouTube channel?
Yeah. Tons of great video essays.
I think I found it. Cool.
All right, so I shared my second screen. I just need you to bring it up.
Boop, boop, boop. There you go.
And that's the neighborhood I lived in Korea.
Oh, cool.
Like, that's the bridge over here. Like, this is all a beach over here called Gwangan Beach. And when you came to visit, I'm pretty sure you stayed in this building right here.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah, it's one of those high rises.
Yep. Definitely not the big ones, because those are luxury. And this is like a big hotel. But, like, this hill back here was, like, my backyard, basically.
Oh, that's such a cool place.
I loved it over there.
And just so cheap. I mean, obviously everything's relative, and I was living in San Francisco at the time, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world. But, yeah, that room we stayed in, I want to say we found it on Airbnb.
Yeah, probably.
But it was like $80 a night. It overlooked the bay, so we could see the bridge and the lights at night.
Yep.
We're right there on the beach, like could walk everywhere. It was great. And like, I feel like that should have cost hundreds of dollars a night.
Right. Dude, I'm telling you, it's amazing over there. And then food, it would be like the four of us would go out for like barbecue, eat as much as we want, drink as much as we want, and then it'd be like $16 a person.
Incredible. So go to Busan if you can make it.
Go to Busan. Listen, I tell everyone who's like, oh, I'm thinking of going to Korea. They're like, I want to go to Seoul. I'm like, that's cool and all. Like, do a few nights in Seoul, but spend most of your time in Busan. It's cheaper. It's a little easier to get around because Seoul has something like 15 subway lines and Busan has 5. And Busan has hiking and nature like embedded into the city. Whereas if you want to go hiking in Seoul, and if you want to like go up in the mountains and stuff, you have to leave the city to do it. But Busan, we used to take a subway line, turn until we saw a mountain, and just walk towards it until we were up it. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was a really cool trip.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, I guess you live there, so
it was a 1.5 year long trip. And honestly, now that I work for GitLab and I'm like fully remote, if I wanted to, I could just go live over there for a month and do my work over there.
That'd be cool.
Not right now because there's some closed borders right now, but you know.
Yeah, even with Korea.
I think so. Well, maybe it's like a 2-week really quarantine you have to do.
Ooh, I would believe that. Because Korea did. I mean, kudos to them. They did a great job handling the pandemic.
A really good job.
So yeah, I could see that. They make you a quarantine for 2 weeks. I'm
trying to build and see what happens.
I'll bet it launches, but we don't have MySQL running on.
There's zero database. So. I don't have a local database on here at all.
So I hope it runs, and then hopefully what we'll see is a big error screen that says, "Oh, we should probably do that first."
Ask for your password.
Yeah, because to run HTTPS, you need to have a trusted certificate. So what Visual Studio is going to do is basically do that for you.
All right, good.
There's command line commands and stuff you can do it manually, but yeah, I hope what I see is the website launches and then it says something about like database error once we get the search up.
Jeezy crazy. Oh my gosh. Just let me use my fingerprint.
Yeah, right.
All right, hold on. Big butts for everyone. Oh God, I just said my password out loud. I didn't. That's not my password. It was a joke, you guys.
I mean, I just say always allow. That's .NET or Visual Studio for Mac just broke me down. It's like, fine. Take the measures.
Fine. I know you're cautious about it. There we go. Yep.
That is the database, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it can't launch our database context. Cool.
Continue.
Did Edge launch?
Boop.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay.
So I want to set it up so it launches in its own window because it launched in my StreamYard window as a tab. So I need to fix that. Edge has this thing where I don't know how it, but it works. Yeah, I don't know how Edge picks which window to throw a tab in because I'll open a tab from Slack or I'll open like a link from Slack, and it'll open it in a window I didn't want it to, and I'm like, oh no, because I have a personal GitLab that I use for like all of this stuff. Like this is my personal GitLab, and I know because the picture is me in a Hawaiian shirt, and it's at Mets and Around. But my official GitLab one, like my work one, is a much more professional looking picture. But it'll this is like my personal Edge profile, and like a tab will open in that, and if I'm trying to do work in GitLab, I'm like, ugh, so I have to exit out, and like, because this profile for Edge is personal, automatically opens this one.
I like how they do that. Yeah, because I do the same. I sign into Edge with my personal account and my work account, and then it just caches all your sessions and cookies, and so
Yep.
You don't really have to keep logging out, logging back in.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to tell Visual Studio, which let me bring my thing over here. Come on, there we go. I wonder if there's a way to do it in like Edge's settings. But either way, like the thing we meant to do, we did. We got it. We need a local database.
And MySQL does not make that easy.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the clock. I'm like, we only have 30 minutes. I don't know if we can get MySQL I mean, we could take a shot, but
If it doesn't happen, it doesn't. This is where we really need to consider: is there a way that we can use Azure's free tier with something other than MySQL?
I don't know.
Like, if SQLite works, that solves a lot of problems we have.
Would solve so much.
And maybe that's something we need to look into.
Yeah, that's definitely worth a shot.
Let's get on Azure.
Yeah, because what do we have on Azure? There's SQL Server, there's Cosmos DB. So yeah, something we could try is just try to just create a new SQL database and see if we can find a free tier.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being the problem last time, where we're like, oh, there is no free tier, and
that's it.
It's not like we're making money off this website, so
yeah.
Hey.
All right, so let's go into the app service. Or actually, no, we just need to like make a new resource of a database, right? And see.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's create a resource.
Whoa,
hey, so
a lot of options.
Holy smokes, yeah. Pricing, all.
Ooh. Oh.
Boom! Wow. That did not... There's still 157 results.
Yeah, that's cool.
But some of these are like performance analyzers and...
like keyword database.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Postgres. I mean...
Heard of it.
There's something...
Yet to use it.
Postgres SQL base. Let's look at it. Let's see what happens here. I don't know what I'm reading.
Yeah, I know there's certain benefits to Postgres. I know people who love it. I want to say it's really fast at something, like maybe reads or something like that. But that's about all I got. I've never used it myself.
It looks like it's a bring your own license thing. So we'd need a Postgres license, and then we just like log it in, and it connects into Azure, and then you only incur Azure infrastructure costs. So free technically, but we'd have to actually go get Postgres. Actually, Postgres.
Postgres. Yeah.
Let's keep free.
So the next question is, does Postgres have a free tier?
God, I don't know.
Maybe do database space SQL in the search.
How about categories, databases? Looking for database, and let's just look databases, right? Pricing free. Operating system.
What's your app service running on? I don't remember.
I think it's Windows, or is it Linux?
I don't know. I mean, you could find out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's find out. Beep bop boop beep bop boop beep. No. All right, let's see. Ooh, child, things are going crazy. Where would I go to find that?
Scroll up. Does it say any? I know there's like stuff at the top.
So the overview, resource group, app service plan.
Oh, go to the app service plan. East US Windows.
Okay.
Boom.
And that's Emilio. That's what we're trying to find out, if it needs to be SQL. Like, we're trying to see if there's an alternative.
Yeah, I mean the all the code's written right now with Entity Framework, and so I would recommend finding a free SQL resource because it'll make our life easier. But yeah, I mean, if we have to, yeah, we could refactor all the database code and move it to NoSQL. But we'll see what we find.
Free trial, Beyond Insight SQL free. I don't think that's actually a database, is it? Oh, Cockroach.
What's that?
Cockroach Labs did a little like new to tech thing once. Like I went and hung out with them once to like it was like a little virtual like luncheon. Come meet with people from Cockroach Labs, and they're kind of newer in the database game. Cloud native, distributed SQL database, developer friendly SQL, and if we set up and subscribe, there it is, the trial.
Ooh, what's the trial though?
Yeah,
I always get worried about like.
I'm gonna click it and see what happens. Try free for 30 days. I'm sure. I mean, then you like. Then what?
Then what?
Then what? Like that's what I'm worried about. Emilio asked if it could be Mongo Atlas. Let's see if what we got in here for. Go back to databases. Go to Mongo. MongoDB Cloud, and it just starts at 5,280 a year. So let's go free. Yeah, Mongo's not free, which makes sense. Man, I guess we'll just keep it MySQL, right? Because like, do I have to put that Oracle stuff on my MacBook, Brandon?
Mm-hmm. It's like I never did it. Like, remember I would send you PRs and be like, hey, can you run this PR on your machine real quick? Because I don't have MySQL installed. So, yeah, Cosmos has a free tier. Yeah, we just have to tweak some of the database code. No, Cosmos with this is C. Actually, just type it into the search bar up above there. Oh, well, you found it.
There it is. Found it. Okay. It's horizontally scalable, dude.
Oh, Cosmos DB is incredible. Basically, you'll be able to replicate your data around the world just by see that map there.
Yeah.
In that image, you just like click a data center on the map, and it'll just replicate your data, and it uses CDNs to automatically redirect your users to wherever the data is closest.
Oh, so, wow.
If you have a user in Europe and the database...
So many of my users are in Europe.
So like right now, your app service is on the East Coast of the US. So
yeah,
that means anytime a user goes to your website, that user has to have a round trip happen from their computer in, say, Poland all the way over to the East Coast of the US and back. And that just takes time. So what Cosmos will do is automatically redirect them to whatever data center is closest. So they'll have faster times. Your website will just load faster. I don't know if that's included in the free tier. That seems like it'd be expensive.
It seems expensive, but at the same time, the free tier is just nice. Else Azure offers 250 gigabytes SQL database for free for a year, Emilio says. Huh.
Like a year trial?
Yeah. I mean, in a year, I'll certainly be able to afford whatever I want to spend on this website.
I mean,
So then, how would I create a local instance of this then?
oh, that's a good question. I've never done that because I've used Cosmos with mobile apps, but I've never run it locally. What you might end up doing is just you'd have like a production Cosmos and a developer Cosmos instance. Oh, here you go. Oh, they have an emulator. Never mind.
I found this article. I typed Azure Cosmos DB local, and these docs came up. So it would be that we would change the database on Azure to Cosmos. We would install an emulator on my local machine. And this changes a lot of how the website works right now.
Yeah. So code. I mean, I'm familiar enough with Cosmos that I'm confident we could do it.
And you used it for. You said you were using it for mobile apps. Was that for the pun day?
No. Punday uses a SQL database, but okay. I have a Cosmos DB sample app that I'll share in the chat.
It's a sample.
I mean, it's it's a Xamarin mobile app that uses a Cosmos DB backend.
Okay.
But all that logic is still the same.
Yeah.
Because Cosmos DB just has a kind of like, you know how we've been using Entity Framework, and Entity Framework does a lot of stuff for us.
Yeah.
Same thing. Cosmos has a NuGet package we'll install, and you can say just like basically Cosmos DB dot get data kind of thing.
So we would no longer be using Entity Framework.
That's a good question. I don't know if I'm gonna Google that right now. Entity Framework Cosmos. Azure Cosmos DB provider for Entity Framework Core. Hang on. We might not even need to change.
Oh.
Here, check out this
Snap.
doc DJ.
Yeah.
Yo, this might be easier than we think. Yeah, there's a whole, just like we have that Entity Framework Core .mysql library. We would just rip that out, replace it with Entity Framework Core .cosmos.
Oh, snap.
This might be easier than we thought.
This might be for reference, for anyone who's here right now who wasn't here for the past, I think, 4 times we met back in like March, we have been struggling to write a test because to write a test, you can't write tests in MySQL. And we were trying to make it work with SQLite on the local repository, but then still be MySQL in Azure. And we've been having, and by we, I mean Brandon, has been having a hell of a time trying to make this all work. And it's been both sad and thoroughly entertaining for people that came through to watch. It's just sort of watching us flail around on code.
I like to think of it as we learned a lot.
We've learned a lot.
We learned a lot of ways to not do it that didn't work.
It's the Thomas Edison method. And now we're going to steal something from someone else. I am, I'm feeling like this change might be nice.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, we've only got a couple minutes left, and I have a meeting that I've got to jump to at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Work stuff, am I right?
They don't just let you hang out on Twitch all day?
But yeah, I'd say go ahead and spin up that Cosmos instance in Azure.
Yeah.
Free tier, for sure. And then, we could circle back. We're kind of teasing the next episode already.
Yeah. So
tune in next week.
That's right. Cassandra, Gremlin, these are graphed. So I'm thinking SQL. right?
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
the EF core docs say that at the top, that the Entity Framework core Cosmos library only works with the SQL version of it.
Account name, is that like I make one up, or
I guess.
YNFP? I'm just gonna do. Oh, okay. Let's do YNFP Cosmos, and I want it on US East. Provision throughput or serverless?
Which one's free? What's that little information icon next to capacity mode say?
So that just says choose the capacity mode, but then there's learn more about capacity mode.
So it's not really telling you more information. It's like a
how to choose between.
I would assume. I mean, serverless sounds cheaper. The way to get built is radically different.
Radically different. Let's see. Best suited for intermittent or unpredictable traffic. Low to average peak traffic rate. That makes serverless sound better for me. Yeah, we don't have sustained traffic. We don't have to worry about geo distributions. Right? It doesn't need to run in Asia. Serverless seems like the way to go. Like it's billing is done on a per hour basis. Amount of RUs.
Oh, RUs are weird, man. Yeah, Cosmos bills everything in RUs, and I'm still not really sure what that means, other than like it's consumption, but also like it's your maximum consumption. So like I was literally just in Azure playing around with this Cosmos DB sample app I shared, trying to lower my RUs because it's a sample app. So
yeah,
I should probably switch it to this serverless now that I know this exists. But yeah, I just kept telling it. I was like, no, like take it down to like 40 RUs, and it's like 400. Like
no. So with provision throughput, it says you get your first 1,000 RUs and 25 gigabytes of storage for free. You can enable free tier on up to one account per subscription. But when I pick serverless, it just goes away.
I mean, sounds like provision throughput is guaranteed to be free. Unless somehow you get over 1,000 RUs, but your website doesn't. Oh, what do we do? What if somebody raids your website?
Oh man. Don't do it. Raid my Twitch, not my website. That's what they always say. I mean, I'll do provision throughput for now because at least we know that this is free. I might like maybe contact someone and be like, "Hey, like, actually, here's what I'll do. I'm not going to spin this up right now. I'll contact someone and be like, it's for a hobby. It doesn't do shit. Can we like." What do I pick here? I'll do some research. How about that? Since we're at 250 right now. You know what
That's not a bad idea. But this is cool. I didn't know we had this EF Core Cosmos library. Because that, at least thinking about it, obviously once we start playing with the code, things might be drastically different. But
I can't tell you how many times
it'd be pretty easy.
How many times we've been like, oh, this looks like it'll make it way easier. And then like 2 months later, we're like, what if we just blow it all away and just start over? And
yeah, we're really good at that.
We are pros at getting to a point where we can't do anything and just starting from scratch because it's a poetry website with 7 authors on it. We're not running Facebook here yet. Oof. They do say that your new favorite poem is the Facebook of poetry websites, though. So.
Oh yeah, I have heard that. Yeah.
Yep. In the circles. All right, dude. I want you to have enough time to get ready for your meeting and have a break. And I'm sure someone's pinging me in Slack about the fact that I said shit on the air earlier. So, thank you. This has been good. Follow me at Metzing Around. Follow Brandon at The Code Traveler. And that's the name of both of our Twitches as well, right? That's Twitter and Twitch.
Twitter and Twitch.
check out GitLab 14.0 coming out in like 2 weeks. And Brandon, what do you want to plug? What do you want to say?
Oh man, so Microsoft Build happened last week. You can check it out. mybuild.microsoft.com has all the recorded videos of every session. So for .NET developers out there like me, there is so many new goodies. We talked about .NET Hot Reload earlier in the stream, where you don't have to recompile your code to see what you changed while your app is running anymore.
That's so
what?
good. Hot Reload is so dope.
Save hours of your life by trying it out in the latest preview of Visual Studio. But
that's right.
And by the way, we're doing this every week now. Obviously,
Absolutely.
Holidays and vacations will happen, but yeah, every same time, same day, Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Come hang out with us.
Come hang out with us. Watch us hack on code. Watch us try and figure out exactly what it is we're doing. Emilio, thank you so much for coming out. Yeah, and help us, mostly. Emilio, thanks for coming through. Check us out every week, man. We'll see you soon.
All right. And we will see you next week.
Adios.